Hi, I'm Mike Wilmott. This is my case study for the internet use violations. So what we know from the case is that we have a young teacher, pretty inexperienced. She has very high expectations for her students, and now we have some students' parents that are upset that think it's too much and that the students are being stressed. Principal has stepped in and has given her some strategies to try to implement into her classroom, and for whatever reason, she has not been implementing these techniques. So now she has received an email over a holiday weekend, and within the email, there were threatening comments made toward her. She notified the principal. The principal told her he would set up a meeting with her and the suspected student on Monday morning. Some other things I'd like to know is, were the threats made on a personal device or a school issue device? When they were made during school hours, or were they over the weekend? And what does the school's acceptable use policy say when it comes to issues like this, especially if it's a personal device that was connected to the school internet during the school day? Did the site mention any other teachers, and what other specific comments were made? I'd also like to know, are we just looking at one person that's making comments, or we have different users logging in and we're looking at a number of students making comments? I'd also like to know how the suspected student is performing in other classes. Are they being a disruption, making rude comments in other areas as well? So identifying the problem, we have a young teacher, high expectations that has seemed to upset parents and students. She is not implementing the strategies given to her by her principal, and that's not helping her at all. She has not eased any of the tension between herself, the parents, and the students. Now she has been threatened through an email and a website, and she thinks it's from one particular student. And now Miss Walker does not feel safe at school or at home. So my plan of action would be, the first thing I want to do is notify my superiors. Issues that this serious could result in students being suspended or expelled. So I would need to let those above me know what is going on. I would definitely involve the district technologist, hoping they could figure out who sent the email, from what device, and when it was sent. I would give Ms. Walker any support and protection that she feels is needed. We want her to be comfortable at school and be able to continue teaching. I would meet with the students, plan meetings with the students that she suspects could have made the threats. I would contact law enforcement if necessary. And lastly, I would plan a staff meeting Monday morning to inform them what has happened. Ask them to keep their eyes and ears open, but please do not jump to any conclusions or start pointing fingers at any of the students. So my strategies for implementation, again, I'm keeping the superiors involved and updated. Calling the district technologist, provide him the electronic copy of the email containing the link. Possibly may need to give him Miss Walker's computer so he can use it to see it. Maybe that'll make it easier for him to figure out where it came from, and give him or her the time and resources they need to figure out who sent this email. I'd have another adult escort Miss Walker while at school. If the threat was found to be real, then ask for police protection at home. I would also interview the students that were suspected and follow any leads they may give us. I would have my superiors and possibly a law enforcement officer present during these interviews. And I would hold a staff meeting, keeping them updated, giving them details without pointing blame at people, reminding them to keep their eyes and ears open and they should report any information they feel may be relevant to this issue. To resolve this, if threats are found to be real and the situation should be turned over to law enforcement. I would educate the students on the effects and consequences of their actions like this. They need to know that these are serious actions and allegations. So if they choose to make a poor decision such as this, and there will be consequences for their actions. I would hold a staff meeting. I think we need to come up with building-wide student expectations. That way it's consistent across the board. After that happened, I would have meetings with all parents and students explaining the new expectations, answer any questions, go over student expectations and the internet use policy again. just in case anybody does not fully understand that. I would put Miss Walker on a plan of improvement. Um, I would ask her to try to implement the strategies that have been given to her to help improve relationships with students and parents. Some of these techniques would help take the stress off the students as well, and that she needs to know that she will be held accountable for this too. So I'd be checking in, do walkthrough evaluations, make sure that I see her trying to make progress and build more positive relationships with her students. Okay, as I was going through the case, some things that I was thinking. I think inexperienced, very well-educated teacher, may be lacking social skills needed to be effective. I was wondering why she was so reluctant to try the strategies that the principal had given her. Also, maybe the students are overreacting a bit. Just because she has high expectations doesn't mean she doesn't care. And in a community such as the one this school is located in, do the parents have too much influence over what's going on? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And then the people that are responsible should have severe consequences, suspended indefinitely, or maybe possibly even expelled. What I was feeling, I felt Miss Walker was pretty stubborn and reluctant to change, was not implementing the techniques from the principal, so she was not doing herself any justice or helping her cause at all with the students. Felt like she could have handled the situation better. Kind of felt like the school is very easily influenced by the parents. They think a teacher is expecting too much of their children, and then they go run to the principal and start complaining. I also feel students in the school should want to be held to the highest expectations. Most of these students want to have very successful, high-profile jobs. They need to be pushed. Maybe her expectations were geared to help get these students ready for the next chapter in their lives. What I valued is the fact that Ms. Walker had high expectations for her students. We all should hold our students to a very high standard and expect them to meet that. People will always meet the expectation you hold for them, no matter how high or how low it is. I value the fact that the principal gave Ms. Walker strategies and techniques to help with student and parent relationships. And the fact that the parents care about their students' education was good to see as well. A lot of times you have parents that just are not involved or don't really care. Some issues I feel that were left unresolved or open to further investigation. Obviously, one is Ms. Walker's willingness to try new instructional strategies. Will this issue make it easier for her to change how she's doing things? And then, what do you do if threats were not made on a school issue device and they were not made during school hours? How is a school to handle that situation? Or does it just go strictly over to law enforcement? And then were other teachers or students mentioned on this website as well? My reflection on Standard 5, I did not place blame or assume. I held student interviews with law enforcement and superiors to help gain information, gain an insight on the issue. We took our time, we gathered the details before we made any accusations, and we valued and respected the students' rights. I did not start searching personal belongings just because Ms. Walker suspected one student of making these threats. And I let the students be heard. I held the interviews and let the students talk. And again, I did not confiscate any student property. To treat people fairly, again, not jumping to conclusions, gathered the details, and I involved the proper officials, my superiors, and possibly law enforcement if needed. I feel like I would have followed school protocol. If students are at fault, then they should be suspended or possibly even have an expulsion hearing. And I did not blame Ms. Walker for the situation. I gave her a sense of security, but at the same time, I'm going to put her on a plan of improvement to help her become a better educator. How did I demonstrate a personal and professional code of ethics? Held a staff meeting Monday morning, informed them of the situation, reminded them to stay professional. report any relevant information. I would keep them up to date on what we have on any new developments in the situation. Following the school protocol for issues like this, keeping students' names out of any public interest that may be coming in from the outside. The staff meeting, we come up with consistent building-wide student expectations, and then we educated the students and their parents of what these expectations are and what possible consequences there would be for violating these or for not meeting these expectations.